She was widely perceived as the antagonist, the one who emerged as the third individual in the matrimonial union. I am now 75 years old, and my recollections extend back only as far as the memory of the sovereign. Could it truly be unfolding before our eyes? The sovereign consort Camilla has been exiled from Buckingham Palace, forced to withdraw from all public royal commitments. That which was once deemed inconceivable now appears as a chilling actuality, all stemming from an earth-shattering disclosure made by Princess Anne. Might this revelation have been the decisive blow in a prolonged period of royal discord? And is it possible that Princess Catherine Middleton is covertly supporting this maneuver against Camilla behind palace walls? Murmurs of betrayal, power struggles, and concealed alliances have reached their boiling point. But precisely what information did Prince Harry divulge that sent shock waves throughout the monarchy? Let us delve deeply into the matter as we uncover hidden truths, investigate the brewing insurrection within the royal establishment, and expose why Camilla might be confronting the ultimate downfall. From an external vantage point, the British royal family has long represented the very essence of elegance, unity, and long-standing tradition. Carefully orchestrated public appearances, meticulously planned engagements, and a steadfast commitment to duty have allowed the monarchy to stand as a beacon of stability. Yet behind the ornate facade of Buckingham Palace, undercurrents of tension simmer, alliances are continuously reformed, and struggles for power are quietly unfolding, hidden from the public's gaze but impossible to contain indefinitely. In recent times, the voices of dissent have grown louder, disclosing fissures within the royal edifice. At the very heart of this maelstrom are Queen Consort Camilla and Princess Anne, two formidable figures locked in a contest of influence that might irrevocably alter the future of the crown. What was once considered a mere family dispute has escalated into a crisis that threatens the very soul of the British monarchy. For centuries, the royal institution has served as a stage for scandal and struggle. Consider the secret marriage of King George IV to a widow of the Catholic faith, an act that nearly cost him his throne, or the manner in which King Henry VII re-engineered an entire religion solely to extricate himself from a binding union. Queen Elizabeth I, known for her deft navigation through myriad plots against her reign, had to blend shrewd tactics with diplomatic finesse. Yet, while the royal feuds of old were often obscured by the passage of time and distance, the qualities of Elizabeth I, a blend of cunning, vanity, kindness, intelligence, and a certain degree of manipulation, are now set against the unrelenting glare of modern media scrutiny. Every glance, every gesture, every subtle change in the hierarchy is dissected by an ever-watchful public, creating a continuous cycle of conjecture. The contemporary monarchy has become a delicate balancing act, one that grows ever more challenging as internal strife comes to light. Consider the conflict between Princess Anne and Queen Consort Camilla. For many years, Princess Anne, renowned for her unwavering dedication to duty, maintained a relatively subdued public profile compared to other family members. Her pragmatic attitude and deep commitment to tradition have earned her the respect of many, positioning her as one of the pillars of the monarchy. However, she has now stepped out from the shadows to express an astonishing opinion, one that puts her in direct opposition to Camilla. According to sources close to the inner circle, Princess Anne is firmly convinced that Camilla is unfit to serve as queen. She refuses to acknowledge Camilla's title and is said to have encouraged others to follow her lead. The source of Anne's misgivings appears to lie in Camilla's past, particularly the contentious nature of her relationship with King Charles during the lifetime of Princess Diana, a situation which, in Anne's view, tarnishes the integrity of the crown. A divided family seems to be emerging. Camilla's ascent to the position of queen consort has not been without opposition. She was, after all, the third person involved in the matrimonial union, a role that the villain in the eyes of many, as referred to by Prince Harry, belonged to Camilla, the spouse of King Charles and now the sovereign consort. For decades, she was perceived as the woman who disrupted the union between Charles and Diana, a narrative that became deeply entrenched in the public psyche. When she finally wed King Charles, numerous onlookers questioned whether she would ever be fully embraced by the people, even as she assumed her role with dignity. Although rumors of internal discontent never entirely vanished, they have reemerged with increased intensity now that Charles reigns as king. The internal struggle for influence within the family has grown ever more pronounced. Princess Anne is not alone in her skepticism. Insider reports indicate that even Princess Catherine Middleton harbors reservations about Camilla's rightful place within the monarchy. Though Princess Catherine is known for her diplomatic poise, it is alleged that she has aligned herself with Anne behind closed doors, further fracturing the family into separate factions. While both Anne and Catherine remain devoted to the duty of preserving the stability of the crown, their unease regarding Camilla's role raises significant questions. If the prospective queen consort is unable to bring unity within the family, what does this portend for the long-term viability of the institution? The controversy deepens further with the saga of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. As if the tensions surrounding Camilla were not sufficient, the prolonged estrangement of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle has only amplified the family's internal strife. Their decision to step away from royal duties sent reverberations throughout the institution, and their subsequent interviews have exposed profound fractures within the royal structure. Harry's memoir, along with various public statements, has painted an unflattering portrait of life within the royal household, a depiction characterized by a rigid hierarchy, personal betrayals, and concealed suffering. His specific criticisms directed at Queen Consort Camilla have added further weight to the growing opposition against her. If even King Charles's own son regards her with suspicion, does that not further validate Princess Anne's stance? The monarchy, already burdened by immense pressure, now finds itself confronting adversaries both from within and from external forces. Despite the best efforts to present a united front, the fissures within Buckingham Palace have become increasingly impossible to overlook. Once regarded as a foregone conclusion, Camilla's role as queen consort now hangs in a precarious balance. Could it be that the royal establishment is contemplating a strategy to diminish her influence? Such an idea may not be as far-fetched as it appears. If influential figures like Princess Anne and Princess Catherine persist in their resistance to Camilla's authority, the institution might be compelled to reevaluate its very structure in order to restore harmony. The notion of removing a queen consort is without precedent in modern times, yet the current degree of tension gripping the palace is itself unprecedented. Even King Charles III is not immune from scrutiny as he maneuvers through the complexities of governing in a new era. His ability to mend the fractures within his family will, in many ways, determine the future of the monarchy. Should he fail to reconcile these competing factions, the very institution he now leads may face its most formidable challenge yet. In the wake of Queen Elizabeth II's passing, the British royal family entered a new and uncharted epoch. Mere moments ago, Buckingham Palace announced the demise of Her Majesty, Queen Elizabeth II, a moment that has forever altered the royal landscape. In a time when every move is subject to intense scrutiny, the days of unyielding reverence have been replaced by a perpetual need for the monarchy to prove its relevance and unity. Yet, instead of showcasing a coherent front, the royal family now exhibits visible signs of internal division. The clash between Princess Anne and Queen Consort Camilla, the lingering specter of Princess Diana's legacy, and the controversy surrounding Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have all converged into a veritable storm of discord. Will King Charles III be able to repair these growing divisions, or will the mounting pressures force the institution to undergo a transformation unlike any before? The unfolding drama is certain to define the future of the British monarchy. Will Queen Consort Camilla be compelled to relinquish her role? Might Princess Anne's opposition gain further momentum? And could the internal discord escalate to irreversible consequences? One fact remains indisputable. The turbulence unfolding behind the imposing walls of Buckingham Palace is far from over. History has taught us that the gravest threats to the monarchy often originate not from external adversaries, but from conflicts within the family itself. The British royal family has long stood as a symbol of tradition, duty and unwavering resolve. Every bow, every handshake, and every meticulously chosen word is part of a grand performance intended to uphold the dignity of the crown. Yet now, with a new era dawning, a single bold move has ignited a maelstrom of controversy. Consider the instance involving Princess Catherine Middleton, when she deliberately refrained from performing the traditional deep curtsy before Queen Consort Camilla. It might have appeared at first glance to be a minor lapse, a slight deviation from protocol. However, within the rigid framework of royal etiquette, such an omission is nothing less than a declaration. A deep curtsy is not merely a gesture. It is a profound statement of status and allegiance. By offering only a simple nod rather than the customary, fully executed curtsy, Princess Catherine conveyed a message that could not be ignored. Some royal insiders maintain that her decision was not an act of overt defiance, but rather a deliberate step toward modernizing the ancient traditions of the crown. Yet others contend that it was an unmistakable signal of quiet dissent, a subtle indication that she may be aligning herself with Princess Anne's reservations regarding Queen Consort Camilla. It is beyond dispute that Princess Catherine Middleton is destined to become the next Queen Consort when Prince William ascends to the throne. She is not merely a royal figure by marriage. She embodies the very ideals of stability, grace, and duty. Carefully groomed for a role that will define the future of the monarchy, she is expected to set an example for generations to come. Nonetheless, as a woman who is destined to eventually sit beside the sovereign, she is subject to intense scrutiny. Her every gesture is laden with meaning, and her decision to forego the traditional curtsy has ignited passionate debates among both royal traditionalists and advocates of modernity. For centuries, the act of curtsying has been an unspoken rule, a physical demonstration of deference and respect. A deep curtsy signifies profound reverence, whereas a mere nod or slight inclination of the head can imply a lesser degree of deference. When Princess Catherine offered only a nod to Queen Consort Camilla, it served as a clear signal that she was not entirely bound by the archaic customs of old. But why would she choose to make such a gesture? Could it be that Princess Catherine is quietly challenging Queen Consort Camilla's authority? Or is she in fact signaling something even more significant? A desire for the monarchy to embrace modernity and to break free of its rigid traditions. In the wake of King Charles III's accession, the royal family has been quietly and profoundly transformed. The new monarch has vowed to modernize the institution by streamlining its operations and discarding outdated practices in favor of a more contemporary approach. Gone are the days when the royal family remained untouched by change. They are now compelled to evolve in order to maintain the loyalty of their subjects. King Charles III has been an advocate for a more efficient and accessible royal institution, and his reforms have included the shedding of traditions that no longer resonate with the modern public. This shift means that certain long-held customs, perhaps even the practice of curtsying, could be on the verge of extinction. Yet, while the impetus for modernization is undeniable, it must not come at the expense of the core values that have long defined the monarchy. The challenge lies in balancing progress with preservation, ensuring that the British royal family remains both respected and relevant. The public reaction to Princess Catherine Middleton's choice to bypass the customary curtsy has been deeply polarized. For some members of the populace, it represented a refreshing act of defiance, a clear indication that even within the rigid structure of the monarchy, individuals are capable of independent thought. These supporters view her decision as a potent symbol of progress, one that heralds a future in which personal integrity is valued over rigid formality. In their eyes, respect should not be dictated solely by ancient protocols. Conversely, staunch traditionalists have condemned her omission as nothing less than a scandalous breach of royal decorum. In their view, curtsying is not merely an act of personal courtesy, but a vital expression of respect for centuries of royal history. They warn that if future generations of royals begin to abandon these time-honored traditions, the institution itself could lose its very sense of structure and purpose. This controversy transcends the simple act of a curtsy. It reflects a deeper, more fundamental division within the royal family. Behind the opulent facade of carefully choreographed public engagements and smiling faces at official events, there lies a palace in turmoil. At the center of this growing schism is Queen Consort Camilla, a figure whose very presence continues to be a point of contention. For many years, Camilla has struggled to achieve public acceptance. Despite her tireless efforts to reshape her image, from being perceived as the homewrecker to emerging as a dedicated royal, it appears that the ghost of Princess Diana still looms large over every public appearance she makes. For those who cherished the late Princess Diana, the sight of Camilla seated beside King Charles, wearing the very crown that might once have been associated with Diana, is a wound that may never fully heal. One cannot help but wonder whether circumstances would have been different had Princess Diana ever ascended to the role of Queen Consort. Perhaps Prince Harry might have remained close to his brother instead of severing his ties with the royal institution. Such questions continue to haunt the minds of the British public, as well as certain members of the royal family who still hold the conviction that Diana was the rightful Queen Consort. In many ways, the royal establishment now finds itself at a crossroads. The monarchy has endured wars, betrayals, and centuries of upheaval, yet it now confronts a crisis born entirely from within. If Princess Anne persists in her unyielding resistance to Queen Consort Camilla, if Princess Catherine remains taciturn in her support, or if even King Charles III begins to question the unity of his own family, then the future of the crown may be at risk. Will Queen Consort Camilla be compelled to step aside, or will the opposition mounted by figures such as Princess Anne gain further traction? Moreover, could these internal conflicts lead to irreversible consequences for the institution that has long been the symbol of national identity? History teaches us that the gravest threats to a monarchy often emanate not from outside adversaries, but from internal discord. The British royal family has long embodied the ideals of tradition, duty, and unyielding resolve. Every bow, every curtsy, and every carefully chosen word contributes to the grand narrative of royal legacy. Yet, as a new era dawns, the lines of conflict have been drawn with unprecedented clarity. Throughout her long and distinguished royal career, Princess Anne has been regarded as the unsung warrior of the monarchy, a figure who, while never seeking the limelight, has consistently upheld the values of duty and tradition. Even when scandals threatened to sully the family name, Princess Anne remained steadfast, embodying the very principles that have earned her both admiration and respect among the British public. Her dedication, however, has also made her an uncompromising force within the royal family. When she perceives an individual as a threat to the institution, she does not hesitate to take action. In her eyes, the most significant danger to the royal establishment is embodied by Queen Consort Camilla. For many years, Princess Anne has harbored deep reservations about Camilla's role. She has never been able to forget the pain endured by her late sister-in-law, Princess Diana, nor has she been able to ignore the persistent public resentment toward the woman once widely deemed to have destroyed a fairy tale marriage. Her concerns, however, extend far beyond the scandals of the past. Princess Anne is convinced that Camilla's influence over King Charles III is perilous, a force that might eventually undermine the very stability of the crown. The confrontation between Princess Anne and Queen Consort Camilla reached a dramatic crescendo during King Charles III's coronation dinner. What was meant to be an evening of celebration turned into a battleground of words, as the two formidable figures clashed in a manner so intense that it sent shock waves throughout Buckingham Palace. Eyewitnesses have described the exchange as nothing short of a fierce confrontation, one that laid bare just how far Princess Anne was willing to go in order to challenge Camilla's authority. Allegedly, witnesses reported that Princess Anne accused Queen Consort Camilla of overstepping her bounds and exercising an undue influence over King Charles III. In return, Camilla, known for her own refusal to back down, reminded Princess Anne that it was King Charles III who had chosen her, and that their shared love story was not one mired in scandal, but was instead a tale of destiny. By the end of that fateful evening, it was evident that Camilla's standing within the royal family had suffered a significant setback. In the midst of these internal disputes, the silence of Princess Catherine Middleton has also spoken volumes. For many years, Princess Catherine has perfected the art of royal diplomacy, displaying an elegance and grace that have become synonymous with her public persona. Never one to provoke controversy or disrupt the unwritten codes of royal behavior, her subtle actions at key moments have often carried profound meaning. At the coronation, the world watched as Princess Catherine approached Queen Consort Camilla. In that moment, the expected display, a deep curtsy, signifying full deference and acceptance of hierarchical order, was conspicuously absent. Instead, Princess Catherine offered only a simple nod. To those well-versed in the intricacies of royal protocol, this omission was tantamount to a declaration. Many insiders now insist that Princess Catherine's decision was not merely a lapse, but rather a carefully calculated move, perhaps even a silent show of support for Princess Anne's long-standing opposition to Queen Consort Camilla. The significance of Princess Catherine Middleton's gesture cannot be overstated. She is destined to become the next Queen Consort when Prince William eventually ascends to the throne. More than a mere royal by marriage, she represents continuity and stability, qualities that will define the next generation of the monarchy. Yet, as a future consort, her every action is subject to intense scrutiny. By choosing to forego the traditional, fully executed curtsy, she has signaled that she is not entirely bound by the old customs, thereby leaving many to wonder if this is a step toward a modernized institution or an implicit declaration of where her true allegiances lie. In the wake of King Charles III's ascension to the throne, the royal family has experienced a quiet but profound transformation. King Charles III, who was formally crowned after the passing of Queen Elizabeth II, has made it his mission to adapt the monarchy to meet the demands of the contemporary world. Gone are the days when the royal establishment remained impervious to change. Now, in order to maintain the loyalty of the people, the royal family must evolve. King Charles III has advocated for a more streamlined and efficient royal institution, one that casts off archaic practices in favor of those that resonate with modern sensibilities. This shift implies that some time-honored traditions, even the custom of curtsying, might soon be consigned to history. Nevertheless, while the impetus for modernization is undeniable, it is imperative that such progress does not come at the expense of the core values that have long defined the crown. Public opinion regarding Princess Catherine Middleton's choice to bypass the customary curtsy has been deeply divided. For some, it was a refreshing act of defiance, a clear indication that even within the confines of tradition, there is room for individual expression and independent thought. These supporters view her action as a bold step toward progress, asserting that respect should not be dictated by outdated gestures alone. They see her choice as emblematic of a future where personal integrity takes precedence over rigid formality. Conversely, ardent traditionalists have decried the gesture as a serious breach of royal decorum. In their eyes, curtsying is not simply an old-fashioned custom. It is a fundamental component of centuries of royal history, and its abandonment may undermine the very structure of the institution. Yet this controversy transcends the mere act of a curtsy. It is indicative of a deeper, more pervasive division within the royal family. Behind the polished smiles and meticulously choreographed public engagements, there lies an institution riven by internal discord. At the core of this division stands Queen Consort Camilla, a figure whose very presence remains a constant source of contention. For years, Camilla has labored to secure public acceptance, gradually transitioning from the role of the notorious homewrecker to that of a committed royal partner. Despite the palace's best efforts to redefine her legacy, many still perceive her as an interloper, an outsider who never truly belonged. Princess Anne appears to be one of the few members of the royal family who has never relented in her opposition. In a dramatic moment that reportedly occurred during King Charles III's coronation dinner, a celebration intended to exude unity, the tension between Princess Anne and Queen Consort Camilla finally erupted. Eyewitness accounts suggest that the confrontation was so intense that it sent shock waves throughout Buckingham Palace. Witnesses claim that Princess Anne directly challenged Camilla's role and influence over King Charles III. In response, Camilla, unwilling to retreat, asserted that her position was the rightful one, having been chosen by King Charles III himself. The altercation left no doubt that Camilla's influence had suffered a considerable setback, and it further deepened the divisions within the royal household. Beyond the internal disputes, the legacy of Princess Diana continues to cast a long shadow over the modern monarchy. No matter how many years pass, the tragic story of the late princess remains interwoven with the fabric of the institution. For many, the sight of Camilla, seated beside King Charles III and adorned with symbols that once belonged to Princess Diana, is a painful reminder of a time when the princess was the embodiment of compassion, grace, and unyielding strength. One cannot help but wonder whether the course of history might have been altered had Princess Diana ever ascended to the role of Queen Consort. Would Prince Harry have chosen a different path if the princess had remained a constant presence in the royal family? Such questions linger, perpetuating the belief among some that Diana was, in truth, the rightful Queen Consort. This ongoing internal struggle raises the broader question of whether the royal establishment can ever truly overcome the legacies of the past. From the early days when the institution was defined by secret alliances and scandalous betrayals, to the present era where every gesture is meticulously scrutinized by the media, the British monarchy has weathered countless storms. Yet today, it faces a crisis emanating from within, a crisis that could compel it to either adapt to a new era or risk its very survival. The debate over royal traditions is perhaps nowhere more evident than in the controversies surrounding precious jewels and heirlooms that once belonged to Princess Diana. Jewelry in the royal context is not merely decorative. It carries profound symbolic significance. Among the most iconic pieces is the stunning blue sapphire engagement ring, now worn by Princess Catherine Middleton, which serves as a powerful symbol of love, heritage, and continuity. This ring, along with other cherished artifacts, embodies the enduring influence of the late princess and preserves her memory for future generations. Yet even Diana's treasured collection is not immune to controversy. The Spencer tiara, a family heirloom famously worn by the princess on her wedding day, has sparked intense debates over who should rightfully inherit it and how it ought to be worn. Some argue that such pieces should remain exclusively within Diana's immediate family, reserved for the wives of her sons, while others contend that these jewels are part of the crown's legacy and should continue to be worn by various members of the royal family, irrespective of personal affiliations. The situation is further complicated when Queen Consort Camilla is seen wearing jewelry that once belonged to Princess Diana. For instance, Camilla was observed donning a tiara crafted from blue sapphires and diamonds, paired with a matching set of earrings and a necklace, during King Charles III's first official state dinner in December 2020. To some, this gesture was a blatant sign of disrespect, almost as if the influence and memory of Princess Diana were being deliberately erased. For many supporters of the late princess, such acts are deeply offensive. They insist that the jewelry should be reserved solely for those with the closest ties to the late princess, particularly the wives of her sons. For others, however, these items are seen as part and parcel of the royal tradition, passed down from generation to generation regardless of personal attachments. This enduring debate over Diana's jewelry raises larger questions about whether royal customs should remain rigid or be allowed to evolve in response to personal sentiments and modern values. In the end, Princess Diana's influence on the monarchy remains indelible. Her style, compassion, and ability to connect with the people left an imprint that continues to shape how the royal family is perceived today. Whether it is through jewelry, fashion, or the treatment of the wives of her sons, the memory of Princess Diana is ever present, a poignant reminder of a time when the princess redefined what it meant to be a member of the royal family. Even as the younger generation of royals makes its mark, the echoes of the past continue to resonate. Both Prince William and Prince Harry have devoted themselves to causes that were dear to the late princess, including mental health, homelessness, and the welfare of sick children. Similarly, Princess Catherine Middleton and Meghan Markle have followed in her footsteps, using their roles to modernize traditions and render the monarchy more accessible to the public. Yet, these efforts are not without controversy, particularly when they intersect with the highly sensitive subject of Diana's legacy. Another dimension of this multifaceted drama is the remarkable journey of Camilla herself. Born in the year of 1947, Camilla Shand grew up in East Sussex and South Kensington, receiving an education at some of the most prestigious schools in England, Switzerland, and France. Although she came from a family of considerable means, it was her relationship with King Charles III that catapulted her into the public eye. Their connection, forged both before and during their respective first marriages, soon became one of the most talked-about romances in royal history. In the year of 1973, Camilla married Andrew Parker Bowles, yet her bond with King Charles III remained unbroken. By the year of 1995, she had divorced, and in the year of 2005, she ultimately became the wife of King Charles III. Their wedding, held at Windsor Guildhall and followed by a service at St. George's Chapel, was an event that many had thought would never come to pass. Then, on the 8th day of September in the year of 2022, news arrived that changed the course of history. Buckingham Palace announced with regret the passing of Her Majesty, Queen Elizabeth II, and King Charles III ascended to the throne. In the ensuing months, the world braced itself for the next chapter in the royal saga. Despite earlier assurances that Camilla would never assume the title of Queen Consort, those assurances were short-lived. In a decision that divided the nation, it was announced that Camilla would indeed be crowned as Queen Consort. For those who remained fiercely loyal to Princess Diana's memory, this was seen as a betrayal, an affront to the legacy of the beloved princess. Yet for others, it was merely the inescapable outcome of history, a recognition of the fact that Camilla had, over decades of scandal, ridicule, and hostility, finally emerged as the rightful partner of King Charles III. Since that pivotal moment, Camilla has labored diligently behind the scenes, championing causes such as osteoporosis awareness, support for victims of domestic abuse, literacy programs, animal welfare, and poverty relief. As queen, she now represents the monarchy at numerous official functions, lending her voice to issues of social importance. Despite the harsh criticisms that have dogged her steps, Camilla has carved out an indelible place in royal history. Whether she will ever be able to escape the long shadow cast by Princess Diana remains a matter of debate. For some, she will always be remembered as the woman who disrupted a once fairy tale romance. For others, she stands as a symbol of resilience and the capacity for reinvention. Let us now turn our attention to the emerging narrative surrounding Princess Charlotte, the young scion of the royal family. Born on the 2nd of May at St. Mary's Hospital in London, Princess Charlotte's arrival was celebrated with gun salutes, streets awash in pink, and landmarks illuminated in her honor. Merely 2 days after her birth, her name was announced as Charlotte Elizabeth Diana, a tribute not only to her grandfather, King Charles III, and her great-grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II, but also to her late grandmother, Princess Diana. Her christening was held at St. Mary Magdalene Church in Sandringham, an event presided over by Archbishop Justin Welby, thereby marking a historic moment for the royal family. In her early years, Princess Charlotte resided at Anmer Hall in Norfolk before the family relocated to Buckingham Palace. In the year of 2017, she began her education at Will Cox's nursery school, and later, she joined her elder brother, Prince George, at Thomas's Battery School. Fondly known within the palace as Charlotte Cambridge, her life has been one of both tradition and quiet transformation. In the year of 2022, as the royal family underwent significant shifts, Prince William and Princess Catherine Middleton moved to Adelaide Cottage in Windsor. That same year, Princess Charlotte, along with her brothers Prince George and Louis, began attending Lambrook School in Berkshire. Following the passing of Queen Elizabeth II, Princess Charlotte ascended to the position of third in line to the throne. Despite efforts by her parents to provide her with a semblance of normalcy, Charlotte has already been thrust into the public eye. She regularly attends official royal events, meets with international dignitaries, and is gradually assuming the responsibilities of a future monarch. One can scarcely imagine the burden of being merely 8 years old and already faced with the knowledge that one day she may become queen. Yet this is the reality for Princess Charlotte. Amidst the glare of the public spotlight and the heavy expectations of royal duty, she possesses a natural charm reminiscent of her late grandmother, Princess Diana. Confident, warm, and gracefully handling the pressures of royal life, Charlotte stands poised to become a leader in her own right. However, questions remain. Will she adhere to the traditions of her predecessors, or will she forge a distinct path that reflects her own unique identity? The royal family is evolving, and the role that Princess Charlotte will ultimately play may differ markedly from those of earlier generations. It is clear that, as Princess Charlotte grows older, she will have to learn how to balance the weight of royal expectations with her personal ambitions. Guided by the steady example of her parents, Prince William and Princess Catherine Middleton, she is being instilled with the values of leadership, kindness, and resilience, qualities that will undoubtedly serve her well in the future. Yet the controversies of the past continue to linger. Questions abound as to whether she will one day be permitted to wear the famous Spencer tiara, a cherished heirloom belonging to Princess Diana, or if Queen Consort Camilla might intervene to prevent it. More broadly, one must ask whether the long and tangled history of internal conflicts can ever truly be set aside, allowing the family to move forward as a unified institution. The future of the British monarchy hangs in a delicate balance, and only time will reveal whether the internal rifts can be healed or whether they will ultimately lead to the undoing of an institution that has long stood as a symbol of national continuity. As the world watches, it remains to be seen how the battles fought behind the gilded doors of Buckingham Palace will shape the next chapter of royal history. In summary, what we have before us is not merely a tale of personal rivalries and family discord, but a sweeping saga of passion, scandal, resilience, and transformation. The narrative of Queen Consort Camilla, once vilified, now striving for legitimacy, intertwines with the legacies of Princess Diana, Princess Anne, Princess Catherine Middleton, and the youngest scion, Princess Charlotte. Each character plays a part in an unfolding drama that spans decades, challenging centuries-old traditions while simultaneously attempting to preserve the very essence of what it means to be royal. The British monarchy, with its rich tapestry of history and its intricate web of personal relationships, is at a pivotal moment. Every word, every gesture, and every act of defiance is laden with meaning. As King Charles III endeavors to guide his family through these turbulent times, the very future of the crown is being written anew. One word, one gesture, and one controversial moment at a time. What the future holds for the crown remains an open question, one that will be answered by the choices made behind closed palace doors and by the unyielding scrutiny of a nation forever captivated by its royal saga. In the end, the enduring legacy of the British monarchy will depend on its ability to reconcile the past with the demands of the present, forging a path that honors tradition while embracing the winds of change.